Hello there, and welcome as we share a build of the Hasegawa 172nd A-1H Skyraider with special bomb. The Skyraider first flew in 1945 and it went on to give sterling service to the US Navy through the Korean and Vietnam Wars. It remained in frontline service until 1972. It was very adaptable. It was modified for a range of duties including night fighting, transport, electronic countermeasures, anti-submarine warfare, and it also dropped a toilet. Yes, indeed, the toilet bomb was used in a one-off mission on November the 4th, 1965 during the Vietnam War. The aircraft that dropped it was an A-1H from VA-25. The plane took off from the USS Intrepid, located in the South China Sea, and was flown by Commander Clarence Stoddart. The members of the squadron wanted to drop something special to celebrate the use of £6 million of ordnance in the ongoing war. When they found out about a damaged toilet that was going to be thrown away, some fighter pilots came up with the idea of a toilet bomb. They rushed to add fins and a nose to it in order to make the toilet look and function almost like a bomb, and it was duly delivered. The full story with lots of useful references can be viewed at the website below, which I can strongly recommend. A large range of kits of the Skyraider have been produced over the years. Generally regarded as the best of the 172nd representations, the Hasegawa A-1H was originally issued way back in 1996, with the toilet bomb variant in 97. The latter kit was reissued in 2020 and is the one featured here. Currently the kit is also available under the Hobby 2000 logo, which features new decals and paint masks as well. The kit here has 78 parts. The standard of moulding is very good, with clear, crisp detail and engraved panel lines that are neat, sharp but not overdone. On first inspection the kit appears a bit simple. Almost half the parts, that's 33, go to make up the weapons pylons, leaving not many to make up the rest of the airframe. Appearances can be deceptive though, and whilst the kit was generally easy to build, the overall level of detail was as good as that seen on more modern complex kits. The decal sheet is very nicely produced. It contains markings for two different aircraft, both from VA-25, flying from the USS Midway in 1965. The supporting cast of extras included the Bren gun bomb set you can see here, which proved to be crucially important. Also missing the photo shoot, but very useful, the Ares replacement main wheels and the ASK canopy masking set were made good use of. Assembly began with the cockpit. This consists of only 4 parts and had decals representing the detail on the instrument panel and the side consoles. There are various aftermarket upgrade sets available, but the cockpit opening is small and little of the interior is easily visible, especially if the canopy is modelled in the closed position. So some seat belts were fabricated from strips of painted masking tape and pieces of scrap etched brass, and really nothing else was needed. The colours I used to paint the interior, the seat cushions and the head restraint I've listed here for you. The fit of the fuselage halves was generally good, but a little filler was required in the area ahead of the cockpit on both the upper and lower surfaces. The instructions have the cooling gills for the cowling fitted at this stage. They're parts A18 and 19, but these really are best left off, painted separately and added later on. This makes the painting of the exhaust stubs much easier. A small amount of filler was required at the wing roots. This time I used Vallejo plastic putty, but it was not a serious issue at all. The engine and cowling ring were added next. The engine consists of only 2 pieces plus a poly cap for the propeller shaft. Part A5 is a representation of the annular shutter that was fitted inside the cowling to protect the engine from the weather. Apparently these were often removed in service, so this part was omitted. Attention now turned to the ordnance. It was at this point that the major shortcoming of the kit becomes evident. There isn't any ordnance. or at least there is, but not enough and not of the correct type. The kit is boxed as coming with the special bomb, but although the toilet bomb is included, all the rest of the load that was carried on that particular mission is not. In very small print next to stage 9 in the instructions is the coy little comment, "This kit does not include external stores. Please purchase aircraft weapon set number 1 separately." No mention of this is made on the outside of the box, where the illustration shows a considerable but incorrect bomb load being carried. It's likely that most modelers would be feeling somewhat short-changed at this point. However, further bad news. Aircraft weapon set number 1 proved very difficult to find, was quite expensive when I did, and whilst it did contain what was needed, contained a load of other items that were not. Fortunately, Brengun come to the rescue. They produce resin and photo etch representations of the required load. There are 2 types of bomb required, and the 2 sets you need are identified here. They are way superior to the injection moulded alternatives, although less easy to use. The casings need careful removal from the moulding block to avoid damage, and fitting the fins is a tricky job. It's worth the effort though. It was at this point that the main painting began. The canopy was masked using the set produced by ASK. The canopy components themselves are a little bit on the thick side by recent standards, but they fit well enough. Everything was primed with a couple of coats of the indicated Alclad grey primer. This acts as a microfiller and assists with the removal of any minor blemishes. The final paint scheme is straightforward, and I've indicated the colours I used on screen. A couple of points to mention: SMS paints require their own dedicated thinner, and the solvent base makes the wearing of a mask essential during the spraying process. Also, the painting instructions are incorrect in regard to the wing leading edges and the forward cowling. They have these areas painted dark gold grey. It's much more likely they were actually unpainted metal with a clear coat of lacquer, hence the use of the Alclad for these areas. As the fitting of the undercarriage, and in particular the ordnance, was going to be a delicate job, the decaling was done first. The model was given a coat of Humbrol gloss coat, and decals were attached using the microscale system. The decals are a little bit on the thick side, and they also can't take a lot of repositioning without losing the backing adhesive, which can lead to silvering. Providing care is taken though, they work well in the end. The position instructions are very clear, and this is important because the coding and lettering of the 2 options provided on the sheet were very similar and could easily be confused. The final stage of the build began with a bit of weathering. Ammo MiG Pacific Dust is an enamel based wash that was run into all of the panel lines with a small brush. This just helped bring out the detail without being too obvious. Then the undercarriage was fitted and went together easily. The wheels provided in the kit were good, but even better were the resin replacements produced by Ares. These are designed for this kit and fitted easily onto the undercarriage legs. The set also includes a set of wheel paint masks, incidentally. Now it was time to add the bombs. The colours used are indicated on screen. The only extra thing I need to say is about the yellow tips to the bombs. That was quite tricky. It was done in this case by dipping the tip of each bomb into a blob of Vallejo medium yellow. This was a bit of an experiment, but it actually worked quite well. Care was needed to ensure the correct placement of the stores, and the website cited earlier was absolutely invaluable for this. Fitting the bombs to the pylons, another tricky task, because there's no locating pins on either the pylons or the bombs themselves. These could have been fabricated, but instead, in this case, the top of each bomb where it mated with the pylon was scraped to create a flat spot. The bomb was then cyano glued into place and supported until set. Cyano gel allows some repositioning time before it sets, and this proved sufficient to get each bomb lined up correctly. It's best to do this in stages, 1 or 2 bombs at a time, rather than attempt to fit the whole lot in one go. The toilet was fitted last of all, having been painted and decaled first. Bren gun also provided resin brass replacement for this too, but the bog standard, kit item was used here. After some final detail painting of the wing cannon and formation lights, the model was given a light coat of 50-50 mix of acrylic floor polish and water, and the job was complete. This was an interesting project, combining as it did a bit of research as well as the actual building to produce a model of a subject at a very specific time in its history. The kit is old, but it's essentially a good one. It assembled easily, although the addition of the correct bomb load raises the level of difficulty quite considerably. To be fair, it also greatly enhances the appearance of the finished model and is well worth the effort. Let's face it, very seldom can a toilet have been the focus for any sort of modelling project. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you found the presentation informative and interesting, and I look forward to you joining me again in some future presentations. Thank you and goodbye.